So good afternoon. My name is Pat Atherley. I am the Senior Assistant Registrar in the Student Enrollment and Retention Unit, known as the SERU, here at the Clearfield campus. And it is my pleasure to welcome all of you who have accepted our invitation to this information and question and answer session here this afternoon. We are just shy of a month and a half or so before we welcome you to the Clearfield campus. And we just wanted to offer this as an opportunity where you can have any questions that you may have answered, and share a bit of information that we think would be helpful as you continue on that road to enrollment for academic year 2025-2026. I have some of my colleagues here this afternoon who will be answering your questions, sharing a bit of information, and assisting in answering any questions that you may have. So we only have an hour or so I'm not going to take too much time. But one thing I want to note is that this afternoon, or just before I go on, let me just show you the faces and introduce you and greet you on behalf of the leaders of our university, our principal, Professor R. Clive Landis, our deputy principal, Professor Winston Moore, and our campus registrar, Mr. Rommel Carter. And I'm sure you will get to meet these goodly gentlemen in due course when you join us on the campus. One thing I want to note is that this afternoon, we are not going to be talking too much or at all really about halls of residence. And that is only because there is a special session on housing that is scheduled for you next week. On Thursday at the same time next week. So exactly a week from today, the Halls of Residence Administration is inviting you to a session where they will share all the information about the halls, and all your questions about halls can be answered. So I just wanted to say that, because we have been getting a few questions up front about halls, but we would want to leave those for the Halls Administration to deal with. So joining me this evening, I have Mr. Owen Ellis. He's our Senior Assistant Registrar for Graduate Studies and Research. I have Mrs. Carol Jordan. She's our Assistant Registrar in the Student Affairs Admissions Office. And that office administers undergraduate programs as well as taught postgraduate programs. Mr. Ellis his office deals primarily with research programs as well as graduate studies and research more broadly. And then I have Mrs. Rosemary Bell, my colleague in the Student Enrollment and Retention Unit, and her portfolio specifically deals with recruitment and outreach. And some of you may have seen her face in recruitment activities over the past year or so as you made your decision to apply to UWI Clearfield. So right now I'm going to turn over to Mrs. Carol Jordan, and she will share some important information with you, after which Mr. Ellis will give his greetings, and then Mrs. Bell will say a little bit on behalf about the Student Enrollment and Retention Unit. So welcome, and do enjoy, and do let us have any questions that you want to share. I'll tell you when we're going to be taking questions. So you're muted, Mrs. Jordan.
I am so sorry.
The phrase of the century.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. I am going to stop sharing my video, and I'm going to share a brief presentation with you. It should be no longer than 10 minutes. So if you can just give me 1 second so that I can go ahead and share. Mrs. Atherley, just let me know if you can see the screen, the slide that is there.
Yes, please, bright and clear.
Fantastic. Well, good evening and welcome to the University of the West Indies Clearfield campus. I am here representing the Student Affairs Admissions Office, and this evening I will be guiding you through essential information that every overseas student needs to know before joining our university community. Now, this presentation will cover critical requirements, timelines, support systems that will ensure your smooth transition to UWI. So over the next 10 minutes, we will cover things like document submission requirements for those who have not yet sent their documents, our visa procedures, a little bit about the registration process, financial obligations, and the support systems we have in place to help you succeed. So please feel free to take your notes, and we will have time for questions at the end. Now, let me start with something absolutely critical. Your application process is not complete until we receive your original acceptance documents. I cannot stress this enough. We need the original documents, not photocopies or digital submissions. Now, you have three options for submitting these documents. I do note that some of you may have responded to the email and forwarded us your documents via email. We will acknowledge that you accept the offer, but your application is not complete until we receive the original documents. So you can send them to us via courier, you can send them via regular mail, or you can bring them to our attention when you come in August in person. Now, do bear in mind that if you wait until you come in August to provide us with these documents or to submit these documents to us, you will miss critical information or critical correspondence that the others may be getting from various other stakeholders, including the SERU department, as well as student services. Remember, if you send your stuff via courier to track your submission with your courier service, and once they say that someone has collected, or I should say signed for the documents, you can be assured that we have the documentation and your application will be updated accordingly, or your record for that matter will be updated accordingly. Your registration cannot proceed without these original documents. So please prioritize this step immediately after receiving your acceptance. Now let us discuss a little bit the visa requirements. So if you're not a Barbadian citizen, you must complete student visa forms. This is mandatory. There are no exceptions. For the initial visa application, you'll need 3 key documents. 1 passport size photo. Ensure you're wearing appropriate attire with sleeves. This must be a 2x2 passport size photo. Also include a copy of your passport's biographical page, the page that has your picture, your nationality, birth date, your name, in addition to your birth certificate. If your birth certificate is not in English, you must provide an English translation along with the original. And you submit these documents to the Assistant Registrar, Student Affairs Admissions, located in the Hilary McDonald Beckles Administration Complex. Start this process as soon as possible after receiving your acceptance, as the visa processing time usually takes some time. The complete visa application requires additional documentation when you receive your acceptance offer, or your offer letter. You would have noticed that you had a link there which allows you to download the H1 and H2 forms. You're expected to complete both of these forms in its entirety. Now, along with completing these forms, you must submit your birth certificate showing your parents' name, a copy of your passport size photo. We spoke about this a little earlier, a letter of financial support, proof of travel arrangements, and the visa application fee of either Barbados $300 or US $150. Now, if you are not from one of our contributing countries, you will be required to pay the application fee. Now, two critical points I want you to note would be that first, forms must be completed entirely before submission. Incomplete forms will be held until you arrive on campus. Now, secondly, student visas are valid for a maximum of 12 months. If your program extends beyond this period, you must apply for an extension at least 2 months before your visa expires. However, I want you to note that the immigration department will indicate the duration of your approval. So you indicate when you on the form, you indicate when you start in the program, and once they review it, they will say whether they're giving you 3 years, 12 months. They will be the one that will make the final determination on the duration of the approval. Upon arrival to Barbados, you have immediate mandatory action steps that we want you to take. Your first stop must be, or I want to say your first stop, but I don't necessarily think that would be your first stop because you're coming to beautiful Barbados, and certainly you may want to go to the beach. But certainly when you come on campus, we ask that you come to the admissions office. And this is to complete what we will consider to be an address form for all overseas students. This form will be submitted to the immigration department, and it is required for completing your visa application process. No, we did not send the form to you along with your offer letter, because we do appreciate that sometimes you may make a determination, well, this is where I'm going to stay. But when you do come in August and you get settled, or late July, whenever you decide to come, and you get settled where you initially had noted on the document, may not necessarily be the place you will actually be staying. So we've asked every single person to come and complete that form, which we have been asked by the immigration department to forward to them at the end of registration. Right, so I went on to say that the address, because sometimes you may change, so we want you to come to us and have that form completed upon arrival. Now, if it is that when you come, you're settled, and after the first month, or the first 2 months, or any time during that period that you're here, and you change your address, you must indicate to us. You must come back. You must complete a new address form, which must be sent to our immigration department. Now, let's talk a little bit about registration, which begins on Sunday, August the 24th, 2025. Now, this is the beginning of registration week, and there are certain things that you would want to follow. Now, you want to attend a new student orientation, which will be held prior to registration week. We therefore recommend that if you can come, let's say the week of August the 17th, which is the Sunday before, that would be ideal to allow you to settle in and be a part of the orientation activities planned for that week. You will receive correspondence from our student services team regarding orientation, which can help you plan when you will want to come into Barbados. Second, and one of the most important things, is that you must pay your UWI registration fees. And the registration fees are made up of your guild fee, your amenities fee, and your ID card fee. Third, and this is also mandatory, you have to, and this is attending academic advising. We call it academic advising for our undergraduate students, but for our postgraduate students, it may have a little different name called counseling, academic counseling, but it is the same thing. You must meet with a counselor and academic advisor before attempting to register for your courses. Now, I know that some of you may have a relative, mommy, daddy, sister, cousin, who would have just completed their degree with us. And they may say to you, man, I can help you. I can help you. Yes, I want you to take the help, but this is after you've had your academic advising and you are going to register for your courses, which is the next step. And registering for your courses is on an assigned day. Not any day you choose, but a specific assigned registration day. Finally, you must pay any outstanding fees before the registration deadline, which is usually about 2 weeks or so after registration begins. And this is your tuition and economic cost. Now, we have excellent support systems in place. Registration schedules will be available on the website. You receive information about the dean's address, its location. Academic advising is mandatory once again for postgraduate students, have coordinator meetings, and we operate a registration buddy system where current students help new students to navigate the process. So here, if you have a family member who would have been here before, who can assist, it is at that point when you go to register that they can assist you with your registration, because you would have gone to academic counseling, you went through all those steps, and now they can help you. If you don't have someone who can assist you, then you can be a part of our registration buddy system, where you have students that can help you to navigate. Now, these students do not help you choose your courses. They help you register for your courses if you are having any challenges with navigating our website where you do your registration. Now, it is important to note that even if you are enrolled in one of our master's online programs, you still must complete academic advising and follow the same registration process. Now, this is our student portal system. It's called the KPhil Online, or what we affectionately call it, CHOL, or CHOL. And this platform is central to your university experience. This is where we indicate any notices we have for you, whether it be about registration, examinations, or general notices. It will be updated prior to registration, and we encourage you to check during and after registration to see any notices that we may have for you. So, for example, if something goes wrong when you're trying to register, we will put the notice on the website. What we will also do will be to send you emails and so on. But, you know, we ask that you make this, you get very familiar with CHOL. Now, once you are here and you click on this student login, this takes you to an even further, this is about you now, and all it shows you, you know, how to access your academic records, official information, register for courses if you need help, your class schedule, everything is here for you to be able to go on and take a look at. So we encourage you, you know, to familiarize yourself with the system. You can't do anything to it. There is nothing wrong with going in, even from now. You know, even though you have not seen your academic advisor, you know, we're not going to register for courses, we're not going to select any courses, but nothing is wrong with getting familiar with the actual KPhil online. As you go through, you will receive login credentials during just before registration. The admissions office will send you correspondence about, the credentials, you get that before, because you're going to need those in order to do your orientation activities. But other information as it relates to registration will be forwarded to you prior to registration. Now, all tuition fees, economic costs, if there are any additional accommodation charges, all these must be paid by the registration deadline. This is non-negotiable for completing your registration. However, we do recognize that some students face financial time constraints. Now, if you cannot pay in full, at registration, you may apply for a payment plan online. Now, after completing your course registration, which generates these fees that you are required, that you are required to pay. So do know that if you are getting assistance, you must pay your registration fee in order to register, in order to have a charge, in order to be able to get the payment plan. Now, if you're receiving sponsorship that hasn't yet been, you haven't yet gotten the sponsorship, everything is not finalized, but you're going ahead and you're here, you did your academic counseling, and you're going to register, you should also get a payment plan. And payment plans do not cover outstanding balances. So let's say you've completed a payment plan, you've completed your first semester, you're into your second semester. Payment plans do not cover outstanding balances. They're only for current semester charges. Now, all payments are due at the end of each month. Your first installment is due at the end of the month, then you enroll in the payment plan. You can pay at our cashier, online, through CHOL, or via bank transfers. Now, it is very important that you know that the banking sector has moved to a more digital environment and away from issuing and accepting checks effective August 1st, 2025. So the campus will no longer accept US denominated checks or bank drafts for payments. Payments may be made using the TouchNet, which we talked about, the CHOL facility, or via the wire bank transfers. It's very important that you understand this. Now, there are two key academic resources. We have the Student Handbook, which will be available online for you in August. We encourage you to use the handbook for your entry year, as academic policies, procedures, courses may change between years. Once again, we do not want you to use a book that a relative may have had, even if it was 2 years ago, because things may have changed. For technology requirements, as I said earlier, correspondence will be forwarded to you to ensure you have access to the student portal, be able to set up your email account. Now, when we speak about this email account, it is very important to note, once you become a student, we are no longer contacting you via the email you would have provided us with during your application. You now have a UWI email address, and this is the email address that we will send correspondence to you once you become a student, and we expect that you too will, if there is something you want to know from us, whether it be admissions, SERU, the lecturers, the faculty, whoever, you use the email address, your UWI email address. So just let's summarize the critical deadlines that you must remember. For those who have not yet submitted your original documents, this must be done before registration, and the application is not complete without your original documents. Apply for your visa as soon as possible after being accepted. Complete your address form immediately upon arrival. Complete academic advising before you register. Pay your tuition, your economic costs, and accommodation charges by the registration deadline. Also to note, you cannot register until you pay your registration fees. Register for courses on your assigned days starting August the 24th. Now, I said the 24th, but that's the Sunday. The Monday, which will be August the 25th. And we will tell you which day you register. So for example, we may say to you that persons in the Faculty of Humanities and Education undergrad will register on Tuesday. So we tell you exactly when you're to register, and we even provide you with the time in which you're supposed to register. You have your dean's address first, and then you have your registration. For master's programs, for our postgraduate students, you have your academic counseling and so on, and you too will also know exactly when it is you are expected to register and apply for any extensions if it's required for your visa 2 months before it expires. Don't forget about our scholarship opportunities. You can visit our admissions page under finances for more information about our scholarships and bursaries that are available to our students. We offer awards open to Caribbean nationals, awards restricted to Barbadian nationals, awards for OECS nationals, and most scholarships are used at the KPhil campus. The application deadline is June 30th each year. So that deadline has already gone, unfortunately, for this time around. And you must complete your forms and submit them to our records section. Now, before we conclude, here is how you can reach us. We are here to support you through this process. Don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions or need assistance. Welcome to the University of the West Indies and to our family of excellence. We look forward to supporting your academic journey and seeing you succeed on our beautiful KPhil campus.
Great. Thank you very much, Mrs. Jordan, our Assistant Registrar, Student Affairs Admissions, telling you all the important information that you need to know that you should be seeing after at this time. So that come that week, beginning August 24th, when registration is supposed to start, everything that you should have done, you would already have done. As she indicated, you are going to be getting she's just giving you a sensitization as to what is coming, but you will be getting information periodically giving you the details of when you are supposed to do certain things with respect to registration and also with respect to orientation. So at this point, I am going to invite Mr. Owen Ellis, our Senior Assistant Registrar for Graduate Studies, to bring his greetings and to share any additional information that he might want to bring to attention.
Hi, and good evening. Thanks, Mrs. Zachary. We are indeed happy to see you all here. Specifically, I want to be speaking to those graduate students among you. I hope there are few. And to say that all you've heard so far from Mrs. Jordan does apply to you. But specifically, I want you to pay attention, or you should pay attention to the orientation information and advising information, because at the very start of your program, graduate students, that is critical in that you get a proper orientation to your program. So what we will be doing in a few weeks, if not sooner, in a few weeks, I would say, is we'll invite you to a specific orientation session for your program. You will receive that invitation, and we expect you to attend so that you can be advised by your faculty of your program and what is required for you, of you in registration, so that, as Mrs. Jordan said, you won't be able to register or shouldn't register until you had that advising for your particular program. So it's very specific. So everyone will be invited to a specific advising program for your advising session for your program by your faculty, and you are expected to do that so that you can properly register on the date which is set for you. As was said, each person gets each program gets a special date for registration. Graduate students apart from undergraduate students. And the other thing I want to say, because I specifically look at the research component, research students, if there are few here as well, you will also get a special invitation to research orientation, and that will help you to get up and running quickly in your program. what happens with our research students is that you are assigned a supervisor from the very beginning. Unlike some of the others, you as a research student, whether you're doing an MPhil, Master of Philosophy, or PhD, Doctor of Philosophy, you will be assigned a specific supervisor, someone who will be with you from the start of your program to the very end. And that person, we encourage you to get in contact with them from day one. So as for your orientation, you should be able to meet up with your supervisor, and that person will help you from day one to let you know, well, these are the courses you have to do, these are the seminars you have to do, this is the program structure, etc. So I want to emphasize for research students that as you join us in September, the very first day, whenever your orientation session is, please make it a point to contact your or meet up with your supervisor, and that person will be able to help you from the very beginning. I will say that if you're online now and you have been given an offer and you've accepted, in your offer you will have noted or should have noted the name of your supervisor, and we do also tell you how to contact that person. Or if you haven't been given contact information, then you should contact me or the office here, Grad Research at uwi.edu. I repeat that, Grad Research, CRADRES, research, RESERCH at uwi.edu for any clarification about who your supervisor is if you are not clear. Basically, that's it for now. I will hold and await your questions if you have any. Feel free to ask when the time is come for questions. Thank you. Thank you,
Great.
Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. So just one more person to say a few words to you, and that's Mrs. Rosemary Bell from the Student Enrollment and Retention Unit. And I think she would want to bring, make sure that, that's brought to your attention certain resources that are available to you all now. We hope that you are actually accessing those resources, but just in case you are not, she would want to issue those reminders. So Mrs. Bell, you have a few minutes to speak to the group.
A warm welcome again from the Student Enrollment and Retention Unit. We are also known as the SERU, SERU for short, and this is the Student Affairs Customer Service team. Together, we concentrate on recruitment, engagement, customer service, and student mobilities. As part of our customer service mandate, we want to ensure that our students are provided with the information necessary so that you'll be able to navigate your way into and through the university. We also make sure that students are able to receive timely answers to routine inquiries and concerns, and also that they receive select administrative services from one location. So we pride ourselves in being a one-stop shop for services to our students. As part of our administrative services, we offer and we provide student status letters, and we know that already students have been asking about status letters. So once you are registered as a student, then you can go online and make the request for your student status letters. We also provide and distribute student identification cards, and you should have, once you have also submitted all of your documentation, including your student ID card form, and made your payment, then you are in a position to start collecting your student ID cards. And this will also, especially for the regional and international students, this will be done during our live orientations. But if you're on campus before that time and you have submitted those documents, you are free and paid your fees, you're free to collect your student identification cards. We are also the collection point for transcripts, and as was stated before, we are the student information and guidance hub. By now, you should have, I hope by now, that you would have gone on our website, and Mrs. Jordan would have mentioned that, you need to get familiar with the website. So I hope by now you would have gone on our website and you would have accessed our new student website, and you will looked at orientation, registration. There is a lot of information there for you. We also have some frequently asked questions. So you can go and browse and see that information is there for you. It is part of the resources that we have set aside to make sure that your journey is not problematic. Also there, you would find the pre-arrival guides. We have the pre-arrival guides broken down for the undergraduate, regional, and international undergraduate students, as well as a pre-arrival guide for the regional and international postgraduate students. And this is a part of the journey that I love, since I get to, tell you about the university, and then we are at the airport, and I am meeting you for the first time, because this form that is here, this is our airport meet and greet form. You're supposed to fill it out, and once you fill it out and you provide us with the information that will indicate when you will arrive in Barbados, we will have some of our students and our student enrollment and retention unit, the team, that they will be meeting you at the airport to welcome you to the island and help you with any questions or any services that you would need. Also, we provide a lot of news and announcements. We try to make sure that all of the information that students need, what would come from admissions, what would come from exams, is housed within our news and announcement segments on the website as well. So it's just to let you know that the resources are there for you to use, and you need to just get familiar. We know we are in the era of social media, so we also have a presence on IG as well as Facebook. So you're also welcome to join us on IG and Facebook so that you would know what sessions are upcoming and what is happening around campus. So I'm just going to leave you with some information. That is the website, also how you can follow us, and our contact information. And I really, really, really look forward to welcoming you. And our office is here. If you have any questions, any concerns, feel free to stop by. Actually, hope that you stop by and say hello. I want to see, stop by and say hi.
Thank you very much, Rosemary. And that is true. Even if you don't have problems, in fact, we prefer to have you come and say hello without a problem, because it would be a much more pleasurable meeting at that point. Mrs. Bell spoke about the meet and greet at the airport. We're moving into the question and answer segment now. And one question, some persons submitted questions ahead of time. So I'm actually going to start with one of those questions that has to do with the meet and greet. And a number of persons have asked whether or not the airport meet and greet includes transportation from the airport. Unfortunately, it does not. But we could be with our team that meets you will point you to where you can get that transportation that is available from the airport, but we don't provide that information. We just provide a nice friendly face when you get off the plane to help orient you to the campus. All right, so I think we are now into the phase of questions and answers, and I see one question in the chat already. Where is it? From Kajol. hope I'm calling your name correctly, Ram Karan. And he says, I sent my acceptance letter and original documents via DHL on June the 30th, and the tracking shows it was delivered July 3rd. I've emailed a few times to confirm whether the package was received, but haven't received the response as yet. I'd appreciate an update on whether the documents have been received and if anything else is needed from my end. Mrs. Jordan, would you like to respond to Kajol?
Now, this is one of the things that we really want to be able to improve going forward, because, you know, once you send your stuff via courier and you check with the courier, they say that it has been received, you know, that's what we would want you to take as we have the documents. But we're going to have to have a system in place that once these documents are in fact received, that we can then just bounce an email to you. At the moment, I would not be able to say, well, yes, they have been received or not. What I can do is to provide you with my contact number so that I can check into it for you to see if they have been actually received. And certainly, you know, you can check you can go back to your chat portal to see if the status has changed. Before, it would have stated that the institution would have accepted you or something along that line, but now it would say that your application, your acceptance has been, applicant has accepted. The status would in fact change if we have received them, and not only received them, but process them. But for a date of July, today is the 10th, July 3rd, today is the 10th, I want to say if we do have those documents, that they should have been processed. But I will just place my contact information in the chat so that you can send me a message, or I can have, I believe that Mrs. Bell, if you could please put the WhatsApp information. If we can put the WhatsApp information in there, you can send the information via WhatsApp so that when we're finished here, we can respond to you, or if not this evening, certainly first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Right.
Thank
And we would
you.
also like to issue a reminder also in relation to the SERU. You know, we are the customer service arm for admissions. So if you find that you've sent something to admissions, because you can imagine what a busy process it is right now as they, you know, process those applications, get information out, and responding to things that are coming in. So it is possible that things can get missed in the process. So if you find that some time has gone and you submitted an important query, you haven't received a response, then do send an email to SERU, SERU, at cavehill.uwi.edu, and you can be sure we will follow up with admissions and get that answer for you. All right, so if you find that you submitted something as an urgent question, a response that you need, and you haven't gotten a response, it's not because they're ignoring you. It may be that it was, you know, overlooked for one reason or another in all the deluge of things that they're dealing with at this time. So we would just ask you, we're there as a good backup in case something like that happens. Now we have a question.
Actually, I want to add to that though, because I love the invitation for them to reach out so that they can get. But if you send it this morning and you don't hear by this evening, you send it this morning or you don't hear by tomorrow morning, you understand what I'm saying? So Mrs. Adley is not saying that if you don't hear within the hour, that then you know, so you still give us a little chance, but then you can, so I would say 48 hours. That is our standard policy. So if you don't hear back from us by then you can feel free to contact the SERU department. And in responding to us too, I'm very glad that Ms. Adderley made this point as well. Can you imagine everyone using our admissions email as opposed to the faculty representative email that you would have sent that would have sent you your offer or would have communicated to you at some time? So one of the things that we want to encourage you, especially when you're sending back, you know, anything about the acceptance, remember you have to send the originals. But if you're asking anything about your acceptance or anything like that, always respond to your faculty email that sent it to you rather than the admissions email. So give us 48 hours, and then and 48 hours does not include Saturdays or Sundays, guys. So
nor
nor bank holidays. And so once you see that you haven't heard anything from the response from your faculty representative's email, it is at that point we encourage you to send, just a follow-up to the SERU department, and what they will do, they will contact us and we may provide the answer to them, or they may tell us, well, take a look and respond to this one, or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Jordan. All right, so we have quite a few questions. How close to the registration date can be considered too late to submit the H1, H2 visa form? How close to registration is too late?
Well, it depends, it depends on you, and you have to understand that the later you send it, the later then the processing begins, the later then you will have your visa approval, if it is approved or not. So, we try to encourage persons, and we would have sent back stuff to persons already who have not yet come on island, indicating that it has been approved. You see what I mean? Because they would have gotten their offers already. They did what they were supposed to do. Some people would have done what they were supposed to do too. But we do have some immigration forms holding, and we will contact you to let you know that you must come to the admissions office upon arrival to complete the form, because something is wrong with it. So the earlier you do that, the earlier we can check to ensure that everything is okay with the form, and we send the form down to our immigration department. They respond to us. We send you the invitation or the approval that when you come, you must go to the immigration department with your passport, etc. But if you wait until you come that week of orientation, which is 2 weeks before registration, then you must understand it will take a while before you won't get it back in a week, in the 2 weeks. We now have to process. We have to send it down to the immigration department. They have to do their processing. So it will take a little time. So we encourage you to do so beforehand.
Thank you very much. We have a question. I'll answer this one. Is the 27th too late to actually come to Barbados? Then too late, you will have missed orientations. That's the main thing. The live orientation for undergraduate students, the live forum is on the 22nd, and the live forum for postgraduate students is on the 26th. So if in that sense, you would have missed those, as you would have heard from Mrs. Jordan, orientation week starts the week of the 25th. So, sorry, not orientation, registration week is the week of the 25th. You will hear the exact date for your program in due course. So it wouldn't necessarily be too late. Well, depending on what faculty you're in, when the registration schedule comes out, you may, and if you're an undergraduate student, you may miss your dean's address and so on if you come on the 27th. So really and truly, the week before is a good time to come. That's when the orientations are taking place. Farhana asked whether she will be allowed to arrive in Barbados before the student visa documents are finalized. That's a very good question. More often than not, your student visas are not completed before you arrive. If you are from a country that does not require an entry visa to Barbados, so you need to be very clear on that. You can come on into Barbados without your student visa having been approved if you do not require an entry visa. But there are some countries that require, where their citizens require an entry visa to come to Barbados. If you are from one of those countries, then you will need to get your entry visa, which is different from your student visa. All right. And you can find that information, the full list of who requires an entry visa or who does not, on the immigration website. So most of our Caribbean countries, of course, you wouldn't require an entry visa. And there are a whole lot of other countries with which we have reciprocal agreements that don't require entry visas as well, but there are a few that do. So check the immigration website, and once your country is cleared and you don't require an entry visa, then you are free to come on in and you get your student visa is approved. You have to send your passport in while you're here in Barbados. All right, so I hope that clarifies that. Anwar is saying he misheard with Brenda's registration date. I think I just answered that. The specific dates haven't been given out as yet. But the week is the week of the 25th, starting the 25th, Monday the 25th is registration week. All right, and the specific dates for different faculties will be submitted in due course, will be shared in due course, but it's the week of the 25th. At what stage will I know if my transfer credits from my previous university will be acknowledged, Mrs. Jordan?
And I also saw something about exemptions as well, so I will take both of those at the same time. We do send you correspondence regarding exemptions. And exemptions there are certain exemptions that are automatic from those students in the Faculty of Social Sciences and Sport. Anyone else requesting an exemption would have to actually get the permission from the faculty. There's an exemption form you would complete. You would need to provide the transcript or whatever it is that you have, whatever document you have that you would want to have the exemption from. Now, when we talk about transfer of credits, it's a little different to exemptions. And we don't necessarily do transfer of credits if you would have done something at a previous college. If it is that you did a course that is similar in your, let's say, associate's degree, then we would consider then that as an exemption. Transfer of credits would be for our students. And when I say our students, I'm speaking about the university brand now. So for example, if we had someone who completed their first year at Open Campus in Antigua and they are transferring to the CAFIL campus, then they bring their entire record with them. So that student transfers their credits. If you have gone to another university, another college, and you're interested in getting some of those courses that you would have done with in that program, then it would be considered as an exemption, not automatic, but you would have to write through the faculty. There's an exemption form through each faculty. In every faculty, there is an exemption form that you would complete. And then the faculty dean will determine whether or not you satisfy the requirements or you're eligible to have the exemption for the course or courses that you wish to be considered for.
All right. If you were accepted last year and you deferred for the next year, can you use the visa number that was previously given, or do you have to get a new one?
No, you cannot. You cannot use that. That would have been canceled. So you definitely need to get a new visa. You definitely need to get a new, apply for a new visa. And the thing about it is that remember we talked about at the end of registration, sending down all of the address forms. That's one of the stipulations by the immigration, in addition to all persons who would have deferred, who withdrew, all of those things, who are registered. If you're not registered, if you're registered in the first semester, you're not registered in the second semester, all of this we have to report to the immigration department so that they know exactly where you are at as non-Barbadians at any given point in time.
Thank you. This person, can we register and conduct the academic advising online? I imagine that would depend on if you're an undergrad or a postgrad student. If you're an undergraduate student, then the answer is no. Well, registration is online. It's an online process. But the academic advising, you're addressed by the dean, all of that takes place face-to-face. With the postgrad, most of the postgrad orientation program orientations are likely to be online. Mr. Ellis, you can speak to that if you have a different understanding. But from what I've noted so far, most of those are likely to be online or hybrid in some way. But the registration process is an online process. What's the latest date to arrive in Barbados? So we did speak to that, but you did say that you joined a bit late. We are suggesting the week of the 18th because the orientations take place during that week. The undergraduate orientation, the live orientation is the 22nd. The postgraduate live orientation is the 26th. Mr. Ellis, you put your camera on. You want to say something?
Yeah, just to clarify, thank you. Just to clarify that there are some advising sessions which will be face-to-face. For instance, anyone here from SERMI's in their program, do a two-day face-to-face orientation. But each program, each faculty will advise how they will do their orientation. And as you said, chances are most of them are online. Yes,
Right.
but you will be told for grad students, you will be told exactly how your advising will occur.
Thank you. So the message there is that while most might be, not all. So you wait to hear for the specifics of your faculty and your program, which we should be getting to you within a couple of weeks, because all that information is coming in as we speak. Is the 20th too late to arrive on campus? I think the 20th is actually, a good time. That's right in the middle of that week of the 18th. And that would give you enough time to settle in. Moving day on hall is the 21st, I believe. Yes, the 21st. The 22nd is the face-to-face orientation for the undergraduate students. What is the deadline date and the amount for payment for the MBBS? Can I pay in part via credit card, as it is difficult to get that amount in foreign currency? Yes, you can pay. As was explained earlier, but you would have to take a payment plan. That's during during the registration process. We do have a full fees brochure online that sets out all the fees, the two categories of fees, the registration or miscellaneous fees that you have to pay, as Mrs. Jordan said, before you can register for courses, and then the bulk of your fees, which are your tuition and economic costs, which is the bulk of your fees that are paid, are generated after when you register for your courses. And if you can't pay all upfront, then you need to take out a payment plan. And that plan will indicate how much money you need to pay each month. All right, the amount is divided by the number of months in the semester. And you will be expected to meet up that payment. If not, you will lose access to a lot of important things on campus. Ms. Jordan, do you want to say something else in relation to that?
No. I just had one that was asking about the ticket reimbursement, and this would be on a two-way ticket, not buy one and then buy it when you're ready to leave. It's actually a two-way ticket. And just to note that the exams, we don't have the timetable ready as yet with the exact dates as to when your exams will be. But what I can say to you is that exams will end probably the 19th of December, which will be the Friday prior to Christmas. So we encourage you to, when you're booking your tickets, to ensure that you either book for the 19th or the 20th to fly back home, because we don't want a case where you book before that and then your exams then are on the 19th. You understand? So we want you to just be mindful of that, even though this timetable and so on for exams are not out as yet. When you're booking your two-way ticket, which would grant you, once you satisfy certain criteria, must be full-time, resident in a contributing country, completing a full course of study, not receiving sponsorship for your ticket, certain requirements, then you would be eligible for that ticket, but it has to be a two-way ticket.
Thank you. Now, Gianna says that she's gotten her visa emailed. I guess she means her visa documents. Gianna, you can tell me if I'm wrong. She says she has received her visa documents in the email, but a friend of hers has not. Having completed the requirements listed previously, when should she be expected to receive it? Mrs. Jordan, you want to say anything to that?
All right, no, I missed it because I was looking at another question. So sorry.
Yeah, she said that Gianna is saying she received her visa documents in the mail, but a friend of hers has not. I'm taking it that the friend has received an offer then, because the visa document comes along with an offer of a place. So if your friend hasn't received an offer of a place yet, that will be why she hasn't received the visa documents, right? If it is that she has received the offer, but for some reason, which I don't imagine would happen because they're all integrated. But if it is that she has received an offer but hasn't received something in relation to the visa, then she should send an email And Mrs. Jordan said, send it back to the email address from which the offer was received. All right. But if it is that she hasn't received the offer yet, then it is a case that the processing is still going on for her.
And remember about the immigration form, because we need the original stuff. So even if you send the immigration form via email, we can't necessarily use it. So you still need to send us that original. Remember, we talked about, even if you do let us know that you accept the offer by completing the acceptance form and sending it back, that's fine, because what we will do with that acceptance is to update the system to reflect that you have accepted the offer. And what that does for you is to allow you to get any other correspondence from other departments such as SERU and student services, and it gets the process going. But we need to have the original documents, your original medical, your student ID card form, your immigration documents. All of those must be sent via regular mail, courier, or can be brought directly into the office. And yes, for some of our overseas persons, we do have persons that are coming into Barbados, and people do allow them to bring the documents directly to us. That is in fact allowed.
I have a question from Indira. Mr. Ellis, you might want to respond to this one. She says she's hearing a lot of information for on-campus students, but for online master's students, will classes be during the work day or after work hours?
Wow. That's a timetabling question, really. Online will depend on the timetabling for those classes, and they can be during the day. They are typically in the evening, though, for master's students, but some are during the day. It will depend on the timetabling. So this is part of orientation, part of advising. So what will happen at that point, and advising is before orientation. You will be told and instructed on when your classes will be held and how they'll be held, and things like that.
Yeah,
For advising.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Ellis. If it's the person that submitted the question ahead in relation specifically to the MBA program, we did send that query, and they did indicate that for that MBA program, most of those classes start at from about 5 o'clock in the evening, Monday to Friday, and that there are also some classes scheduled on Saturdays that may take place earlier in the day than 5. And that was a response specifically in relation to the MBA, because we did have that question come in ahead of time. So for the most part, those classes start from 5 o'clock during the week, but on Saturdays, if there are classes on Saturdays, they may be earlier. All right. When it's academic advising is on the date of if you're an undergraduate student, it's on the date of your registration. And the registration week, as we said, is during the week of August 25th. You will hear the exact date for your faculty in due course, but you get the academic advising on that date just before you go to register. And that includes your dean's address, hearing from your departmental heads, and then your academic advising. If you're a postgraduate student in a top master's program, those advising sessions or counseling sessions are being scheduled during the week, the 18th to the 25th. And specific dates are coming in as we speak, so that full roster can be put together, and you will be informed on which day is your date. Okay. So you will get that schedule. Mrs. Jordan's office, admissions, will be sending out that registration schedule in a bit. All right, but just for now, you can just note that it is during the week of the 25th, Monday to Friday of that week.
There's a question, Mrs. Ali, from Chanel. So she was asking if she's unable to arrive in Barbados for the face-to-face orientation, if it will be streamed online. And she also wants to know if the academic advising, will there be any documents sent out to provide support for academic advising? And with academic advice, I'll speak to that one, then Ms. Adil, I'll let you speak to the orientation one. But for the academic advising, when you are given documentation, they do give you little leaflets, they do give you some sort of correspondence, but remember, this is a face-to-face academic advising session, and they do provide you with documentation. If they don't have documentation, they may have a presentation, and you're allowed to, write your little notes and so on, depending on the program. And, and they provide you, yes, they do provide you that support that you would need in determining, what courses and so on you should take. And I take this opportunity now to talk about academic advising, and especially for our undergraduate students. Now, sometimes we know that you may have applied for a particular program and you were not successful with that particular program. However, you may have been recommended another program, or you may have been given your second choice. When you go to academic counseling, academic advising, this is your opportunity to say to them exactly what you really wanted to do, and they will guide you, whether it is you're going to keep the program that you have now, or whether it is you going back or taking a pathway back to the program that you were intending to do in the first beginning. So take up the academic advising. You can feel free to do your research from beforehand. You can look in the handbook, you can look at certain things and go to your academic advisor and ask all of those questions which you would need, throughout your journey. Do know that the academic advisors, the session is not like how it is for new students, but if there is somewhere along your journey, whether you're in level 2, second semester, and you're unsure about anything, you can feel free to reach out to the faculty, reach out to your academic advisor. An academic advisor is appointed to you. You have your academic advisor. You would know who it is. It will be available. Remember, we talked about CHOL. It will be available on CHOL. You'll be able to see who that person is and let them be your guide throughout your academic journey in terms of your courses and so on. If you find that you're having challenges in your courses and doing your work and so on, do not wait until the end and, say, well, I'm just going to do the exam, but I don't know. Go and speak to someone, because we know from the time we start to do a course, if this course is going to be a little challenging, a little more challenging than another, if this one is going to be I don't like to use the word easy, I don't want to use the word hard, but because you're in it. And if you find yourself in any issues or anything like that, we have student services who can provide you with guidance. You have your academic advisor who can then point you in the direction. So, take up the opportunity to meet with your academic advisor throughout your journey.
Maybe have a question.
You didn't answer that. The other one, Ms. Adelaide.
Oh, the other one had to do with orientation, and
Yes,
whether
please,
orientation is online. As far as orientation, undergraduate orientation is a face-to-face, well, postgraduate orientation as well, the live forums. This is not the program orientation now. So the orientation, the undergraduate orientation on the 22nd is a face-to-face program. Our undergraduate degrees are all face-to-face degrees. And the students are expected to be on campus for the orientation. The postgraduate orientation is also a face-to-face orientation. I think there may be some decisions to be taken there as to whether any streaming may happen, but we can't give you a definitive answer on that at the moment. But certainly for the undergraduate one, there are no plans to live stream that orientation. The postgraduate one, some questions are still being asked in relation to that one. All right. I received the link for matriculation ceremony, but I can't open it. We will have to check on that, Vishala, to see whether or not it should be open for registrations. The matriculation link, Mrs. Jordan, as far as you know, the matriculation link should be open, shouldn't it?
I don't want to say yes at the moment. I don't want to say yes at the moment, but I know that we will send it out again to those. So I don't want to say yes at the moment, but just know that the matriculation ceremony will be held on the Friday during registration week. So we still have a little time, but we definitely will check to see what is happening with the link. And you will receive correspondence from us as well with the link. And that is also available on the new student website as well. So if so just bear with us. We are going to check on that. So thank you very much for pointing that out. We're going to check on it, but just know that we will be sending you reminders about it again a little later. In the event that that particular link is not available, you will get more correspondence, but know that it is the Friday during registration week.
Okay, thank you.
So we will check on that link and make sure that you can register for that lovely ceremony. The deadline to request the airport meet and greet. Rosemary, when do we start meet and greet period again? When do we start meet and greet? When's the period? Anytime up to the start of the meet and greet, you can send us your information. As soon as you get the information, you can send it in. But Rose, when is the period? I forgot.
18th until the 31st of August.
Right, August 18th to 31st. That's the period when we will be at the airport. So as soon as if you book your flight anywhere within that period, you can send us your information.
We had a question where a person was asking if they're unable to attend academic advising during the registration period, the date in which they were supposed to be here to do the academic advising and registering and so on, what can they do? Now, you still have to wait until you come on campus to register for your courses. Remember, we said you have to do academic advising. We have a set period, a set day for everybody assigned for you to do it on that day. If you're unable to do it on that day, you must visit the faculty, so that you can get your academic advising before attempting to register for your courses. And why we do it that way, why we do it the way that we do it is because once we're having academic advising, so for example, if we're having once we're having registration for social sciences, all persons, we have every department, every program, the person that's responsible for a particular program, everybody is on board on that day, and everybody is available on that day that you can go and you can speak to the exact person who the program, who runs that particular program. Now, if you come on another day, you will not necessarily get to speak with the program coordinator, but you would get to speak to an academic advisor nevertheless, who will guide you through your registration. So not to worry about it too much, but just know that you have to have that academic advising before you register. And then Michael was asking about original documents. When we speak about the original documents, we are speaking about your acceptance documents and not your qualifications, not your birth certificate. If you're sending your birth certificate to us, it must be certified. If you're sending a copy of your passport for us, it must be certified. Then you are sending any documents, if we have persons online who have not yet, for whatever reason, sent in their documents to be considered, you must upload certified documents. But when it comes to the acceptance documents, the documents that we would have sent to you in your offer, those are the documents that are original that we would want you to return for us.
Now, Samuel is asking how it goes about making the visa application fee. Samuel, I'm assuming that you are not from one of the UWI contributing countries, that you are an international student and that who needs to make that visa payment. And if you are, I would suggest that this is one that you can send us an email at the SERU so we can send the link to you. Because I may try to explain it to you now, but it might be a little, but you can pay it online. You said you tried making the payment via the website that you use to pay your application fee. you should be able to find it, but if you tried and you haven't been able to find it, then send us an email, seru@cavehill.uwi.edu. Rose, put it in the chat, please. seru@cavehill.uwi.edu, and we will send you the link. And if you still have trouble, then you can let us know, and we will investigate that for you. But you should be able to pay it unless something was happening and the portal was down for some reason. But we can get that easily clarified for you. I think we handled those questions about academic advising and whether they are online or not. Are there any university-wide compulsory courses for incoming students regardless of faculty? Yes, we do have foundation courses, and all of that will be part of your advising process. You will hear what those courses are during that process, and that's for the undergraduate students. Do you send the immigration documents to admissions or to the faculty, to the admissions office? Mrs. Jordan indicated that admission, she gave the address to the assistant registrar, student affairs admissions, the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill campus, St. Michael, Barbados. Right, Mrs. Jordan?
Yes, please.
Right, that have to be sent to that address.
We have a question that is a little, I am not sure what the person is asking. The person says, if your passport number expires, would you have to apply for a new visa? And I am not sure I understand this. Is it that your passport will expire while you are a student? And while you are a student, I don't believe you would have to apply for a new visa. You may have to provide us with a new copy of the passport, but I'm not sure if that's the question you're asking, but certainly you wouldn't have to apply for a new visa, especially let's say you got the visa for a 3-year period. It is important to note that your passport information has to be the correct passport information that the immigration department has. And so it would be mandatory for you to provide us with a new copy of the passport. And most certainly, once you do that, I can see that they may call you or may ask that you come to have the stamp placed in that passport, or you may have to walk with both. Because, you know, as when you have a visa and it expires, your passport expires, but the visa is still, you know, you still have another 5-6 years of the visa. You actually have to walk with both of them. But it would not cancel. You wouldn't have to apply for a new visa.
Now, Joella, you asked this question at 5:59, a minute to 6. So I hope you have gotten the response in respect to academic counseling. That is done as part of that registration week, and that's done. You know, you go as a group to your faculty where you are told your faculty will be having their advising and dean's address and all that. You go there and so you don't need to contact your counselor individually at that point. All right. You will go on the date that you are assigned to go for academic counseling to your faculty. All right, and all of that would be in the registration document information that you will get. Any contact with your counselor individually, you know, that would be after. All right, as you go through your program and any issues that you have, to keep contact with your counselor for advice. But the advising session up front will happen as part of that during that registration week in the faculty or in the space reserved for the faculty for orientation. Right, Mrs. Jordan?
Yes, please.
I think you answered this. Transfer student asking about when their credits from their previous university, when would they be assessed? I think you answered that question already.
Yes.
Yes. I'm curious about if the BSc Economics and Mathematics is being offered this academic year. Is that something you could answer offhand, Mrs. Jordan?
No, I can't answer it offhand, but I'm thinking the answer is no. If then you did make the application and you did not see it as one of our options at that point, the answer is definitely no. But I think we had a change in those economics and management, economics with math, economics with math, economics and math. So I do not think that it is being offered this time around.
All right, somebody is asking about how do I apply for an exemption from Caribbean civilization if I recently passed this course when I did my associate degree? That would be
Well,
done automatically?
No, with associate degrees, remember we said this is not an automatic exemption. The only exemptions that may be automatic would be persons that would have completed BCC, but do note that in your registration material, we do send you correspondence regarding exemptions. We send correspondence for sport, social sciences, and CCPA. They're not automatic at the moment, but we do send correspondence for CCPA as well. Now, for other faculties like science and law and so on, we do not generally give exemptions. So immediately you know that if it is something that you want to be considered for, that you must complete the exemption form and provide your transcript, a copy of your transcript, indicating the course that you wish to be exempted from, and certainly the course that you wish to be exempted, the UWI course that you wish to be exempted from as well.
Thank you. Nancy is asking, do solutions students need an entry visa? No, solutions don't need an entry visa. You do need to apply for a student visa, however. You're not required to pay for it because the Barbados government has waived payment for St. Lucians as a contributing country to the university, but you do need to submit your visa application documents, but you don't need a visa to enter Barbados. Will this recording be available for quick reference? I think we'll make the recording available. They asked me if the presentations will be emailed. No, we don't have any plans to email the presentations, but if we make the recording available, that should take care of that. Is the orientation date close to registration? And as I said, orientation is the week before registration week. All right, so it's the week before, as the dorms are not available until the 20th, so there will be no need to find, need to find another accommodation. If you're coming in before the move-in date, do reach out to the halls to find out what is possible but you're gonna have that accommodation session next week. So keep that question and ask those questions, but things are possible. Just discuss it with the halls. You're told that when we book our flights to Barbados, you must have a return ticket. Yes, however, we are not certain when the end of the first semester will be. Mrs. Jordan, you spoke to that. We do know that date. How do we go about booking flights at the right date after the semester if we can't purchase one-way tickets? Mrs. Jordan, you want to speak to that?
He asked how if we don't know the date.
Yes, how can they book if they don't know when the semester ends?
Right, but remember I told you you can book for, if you're doing the 19th, ensure it is after, let's say 5 o'clock, but the 19th after 5 or the 20th, which is the Saturday. You would not know when your exam is going to finish, and it is a little gamble because sometimes you may finish your exams. Let's say the exams start the 1st of December. You may finish all 5 of your exams between the 1st and the 3rd by having 3 exams a day. So it becomes a little bit of a gamble in terms of you staying in Barbados until the date in which you would have booked your ticket. But we certainly would not want you to book a ticket to leave on the 15th and then you have an exam on the 19th. Now, the thing about it is that we use a system where we it's a exam timetabling system that we use to determine where an exam can fall, recognizing that we're doing both undergrad and postgrad. And we need to be able to get everyone in within that time period. Some examinations are 3 times a day. We have 9 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. So there is no guarantee that your examinations are going to finish early. They may even start on the 17th, 18th, and 19th. So I would prefer if you do your 19th, 5 o'clock, 20th, which is the Saturday. And then if there is an opportunity for you to change the ticket, if you finish earlier, then you can do so, or you should do so.
Thank you. I guess what she really was asking was confirmation of when the semester ends, which is the 19th.
19th, yes,
Yeah.
please.
All right. Can we purchase 2 one-way tickets? One to Barbados and one leaving. And instead of buying a round trip ticket, the
Must be a
immigration
two-way
department
ticket.
requires a
Must be.
return ticket.
Mhm.
That's not our requirement. That's the immigration department's requirement. Good. When will we be able to access CHOL? I've tried to log in just to look and it has not worked.
You are not, how do I put it? The term is not open as yet for 2025-10, but you can go under course catalog. There are other things there that you can go in and you can look. You can even go through the help. You can look at certain things, but you would not be able to access the registration portal as yet, as we're not open for the term as yet.
All right, I said it also stated that fees must be paid in full. That it means in full for that particular semester or the year for the semester. You can pay your fees by the semester. And when you get your payment plan will be for that particular semester. All right.
And one of the things that I wanted to add there too, Mrs. Adderley, is that sometimes we think about paying by semester. Now, you cannot start August if you don't pay for you can't start on September, the first one in September when teaching starts, unless you pay your first semester. But do bear in mind that you don't have to wait until January to pay your second semester. Once you settled your first semester fees, you can go ahead and you can start making payments on your account all the time. You can continue to make your payments so that come January, then you wouldn't have to, even if you have to pay some more or whatever the case, you can do that, or you may have already paid all. So we just want you to know that even though you paid for the first semester, you don't have to stop there. You can continue paying and you don't necessarily have to wait until the second semester. And then there's some people that go ahead and they pay the academic year. It is up to you, but just know we need the first semester in order for you to start come August.
Right, or a payment, or you would have started taking out a payment plan. I remember the payment plan is you must pay your registration fees though. That $540 plus your ID card. You must pay that upfront before you can register for any courses. Right? The payment plan is for the bulk of your tuition, economic costs, hall fees, if you're on hall. All right, you can take out the payment plan for that, but the payment plan does not apply to your registration fees, which must be paid before you can register for courses. What does application firm mean? She said she thinks you spoke to it, but she missed it. Application acceptance firm. What does that mean? Oh, you answered it. Sorry, you answered it on the chat. If students arrive before the halls are open, is there any advice on where they can stay in the interim? Again, raise those questions. It depends on how far in advance. I would prefer you to raise those questions with the halls next week at the same time, when all those questions about halls will be answered, both in terms of on-campus and off-campus accommodations. All right. We spoke to our orientation several times. I tried to make payments online via the website. Oh, you answered that one already. You got that about making a payment for the registration. How do you go about making the payments for registration? Those payments are made online via CHOL. Mrs. Jordan explained that. Or you can pay by wire transfer. You can pay. There are various ways you can pay. All that information is available on the website. If when you go to the new student website, the new student website has about fee payment. There's a tab at the top on paying your fees. You will find that information there. All the various ways in which you can pay fees are on the student financing website, and we provide a link to it from that new student website. To confirm that we only access the payment plan option after we pay the registration fee, yes. After you pay the registration fee and after you register for courses. The payment plan only becomes available when you have completed your course registration. So if you try to do a payment plan before you register for your courses, so there's a step-by-step. You have to pay your university registration fees before you can register for your courses, and you have to register for your courses before you can apply for the payment plan. All right. So I hope that is clear, because the payment plan cannot include your registration fees. Those have to be paid upfront. And you can pay those registration fees all like now. Well, as long as you you've returned, accepted your documents, and you have an account created and so on, you can begin to pay your registration fees, so you're not caught in the crowd. Could you let us know if there are any discounted flight fares or special baggage allowance for new students traveling to Barbados? Does Jordan know anything about that?
Sorry?
Any special discounted fares? I guess it would be best to check with the airlines that you'll be traveling with. Tell them that you are a UWI student, and ask. The only one I know that has something special is Suriname Airlines. For people coming from Guyana and Suriname, that they do have a special rate going with a special baggage allowance for students. But do ask the others, if you're traveling on the airline you're traveling on, if they have any special rates for students. All right, you answered that one already. To the original, oh yeah, you answered that one already. What about online bachelor students? I'm not, I don't think we have any of those online bachelors. Our bachelor's programs are all face-to-face programs. You have to reserve a campus tour. I'm a bit confused if I have to. Okay, as part of the orientation site, when you go to the new student website, it includes a link that says orientation, and that would take you to the orientation page, and that will show you a schedule for the campus tours. The dates may not be in yet, but there will be a list of dates when the campus tours will take place. All right, and the library tours as well, and you can just join one of those tours. I don't think you have to register. You just mark the date and be at the place where the tour is going to start. Are regional students eligible for jobs on campus or jobs in general? Regional students, yes, you can apply for jobs on campus. And I must say though that they're not, that many jobs that are available on campus, but you can apply for those jobs. If you apply for the CARICOM skill certificate, if you're eligible for that, then you can, you're also able to apply for jobs off campus. But yes, you can apply for jobs on campus and hope that you get one. If I'm not able to attain my assigned, what recourse do I have? I think you spoke to that. Can registration fees be paid when we get to Barbados the week of the 17th? Or must it be paid before? Yes, they can be paid when you are in Barbados. They can be paid up to the point that you are about to register. But the sooner the better, so you don't have to be caught in the crowd. All right, but once you pay them before you attempt to register for courses, that's fine. Do the originals before that was spoken to? That was spoken to. That was spoken to. It seems as if we are pretty much.
There's one question here, if Mr. Ellis, a person is doing or Mrs. Adley, I'm not sure if you spoke about an MSc already, which would be under the Cahill School of Business. But this person is doing a hybrid program, and they're asking if they can do their first semester online, if she still has to come on campus, and she would like to stay home for the first semester. And at what point then does she apply for the visa? Well, you should apply for your visa, from now, so that you can get that out of the way. But being that it is a hybrid program, she wants to know if she can stay at home for that first semester.
Yes, I would prefer that information to come from the program coordinator. And those are things that will be the information that you will get as part of that orientation. I know that exams are usually face-to-face. The exams part are usually proctored face-to-face exams. In some cases, students can pay a fee to take that exam, at home. I have it proctored at home, especially if you are within the Caribbean, rather than having to come to Barbados for the exam. But, those master's programs, they differ in terms of the requirements. So I would prefer, Mr. Ellis, I don't know if you want to add anything there with respect to that question. the student is in a hybrid, one of the hybrid programs, and wants to know if she can do the full of the first term off campus at home.
Right, so I would endorse what you've said. That is a question specifically for the program coordinator. And best answer during advising, but it'd be good to know beforehand. So if you can, I think try contacting your department directly to get that clarification as early as possible so that you know what you're doing in first semester. Because you can't assume that you can stay at home during the first semester, but that is something which you should clarify with the program coordinator as early as possible. So I suggest within this next week or so, emailing, calling, to find out exactly what it is you are allowed to do in your hybrid program.
Okay. Carlos is an interesting. My family has applied for the CARICOM Skills Certificate for work in Barbados, and this student is a dependent. Will I still be required to apply for the student visa if this application is successful, if the skills certificate application is successful?
So I did ask, because I did do my little search while I was looking. So I did ask the applicant to contact me so that I can do a little more research, because it's a little tricky and I don't want to give any incorrect information as it relates to who would be exempted from the visa. Because remember, we started by saying all non-nationals must have a visa. So I want to do a little more research. So I have asked her to contact me, and I will be able to provide that information.
Yeah, my guess would be yes, that she still has to get a visa though. Because many people are here working, the students still have to get visas. If I have received additional K or CSEC results, do I email the results to admissions or to SERU? Definitely to admissions. Who has additional K or CSEC results? Where should she send
They should upload it. Remember, we're having everything certified, and you're going to upload it to chat just as you would have done with your other documents. Yes.
Okay, so I hope you got that. Jordana, the same place you uploaded the original documents, you can go back there and upload the additional qualifications. What happens if the CSEC and K links are already taken? She can upload them to any free link, Mrs. Jordan. What if she has no more CAPE or CSEC links?
You can upload it to any of the links,
any of the free links.
And if it is that your representative did indicate to you that you needed, if we did send you correspondence saying that this is something that was outstanding, please respond to the representative. You could just give her a little nudge, or him a little nudge, to let them know that you have done what they asked you to do, so that they can go back and they can complete your application processing for you.
No, this is an intro. I don't know if this source is asking like some information about courses offering part. This is similar to the question just now about hybrid. If you're doing part of your studies online, do you still have to submit the student visa documents? How will it academic advising work if it is being done physically? I assume that these are master's courses. As we were saying earlier, most of that academic advising is like if your program is online, not more than likely your academic advising will be online or hybrid. All right, so if you are being registered in a program that you're going to be doing either hybrid or online, your advising, your counseling, it will be online or hybrid. All right, but the question is, do they still need to submit student visa documents?
You see, especially like you said, Mrs. Adderley, once you're coming to do those examinations for MITP, if you're coming for that, the 6 weeks or 4 weeks, however long you're supposed to be here, you must get your visas still, you see. So you apply for them, and you get your visas. Once you come to the island, you take your passport then to the immigration department and have your student visa stamp affixed into your passport.
Okay. Now I pay the fees in US currency online. Well, then if the fees will be, they're not going to pay them in US currency. You can use your credit card and pay. but the fees are quoted in Barbados dollars, I think. Right, Mrs. Jordan?
Might be, don't mind when we say Barbados 30 or US 15, but it would certainly be in Barbados dollars.
If I applied for a scholarship, by now would I have known if I was okay? You reply that the record section will contact them. It's not necessarily that you would have heard by now. If you haven't heard, it doesn't mean it's because you weren't successful. That process is not completed. But you will hear from records as indicated. If I pay the accommodation fee and security deposit, will you receive it by tomorrow, the 11th, which is the deadline? And if it does reach tomorrow, will that affect my accommodation? I'm not quite sure I understand. If I pay the accommodation fee and security deposit, will you reach it? Will you receive it by tomorrow? I mean, if you pay online, I suggest you go ahead and make your payment. And don't worry about that. Just go ahead and make it before tomorrow.
So I will assume, exactly that the trigger for payment for the accommodation is because you've been accepted for accommodation, so.
Yes, so the deadline, they're saying that the deadline to receive it was the 11th, which is tomorrow. So I'm saying to go ahead and just make sure that you go ahead and make that payment tomorrow. How do you know how much to pay for registration? All of that information is, well, you said that it was sent to you in your offer letter, yes. And as I also indicated, we do have that full fees brochures online for both undergraduate and postgraduate programs. And it's good to download those documents because they not only set up the fees, there are a lot of notes and things in there that are important for you to know as well. So do download the fees brochures. They outline the fees, but they give additional information. And payment for registration be made via the bursary. Yes, the cashier in the bursary, you can do that. Okay. I got accepted into another program, but not fully for law. Should I still send in the documents such as my medical and police record? And if sent, will they be processed for my law application if it's accepted? Or will they have to be sent again? Mrs. Jordan, do you understand that question?
No, I do not, but I want to assume that the person applied for law, but did not get accepted to law. So send the documentation that is relevant to the program that you were accepted for. And for this particular applicant, it is very important then that, you know, if law is what you really want to do, that during that whole academic advising that you're getting under your other program, you know, you say that to the advisor, and certainly ensure that you reach out to the law faculty to ensure that you are doing the courses and so on that will make you competitive enough to be considered for a transfer after you've completed all your 10 level 1 courses at the end of if you're doing 1 year or if you're doing 2 years to complete your level 1.
No, Asha, I don't know, maybe you should open your mic if you can. And I'm confused about the question regarding the housing payment deadline. Have I missed something? I'm not quite sure. I think we were a little confused about the question too, so the answer might be confusing. I think we are confused on both sides. So Asha, if you can explain a little bit, or if you can open your mic and explain, you know, exactly what your concern is, we might be able to help. Because this is a question about the housing payment.
Good evening.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, nice to hear your voice.
This is Asha, actually Asha's mommy. Asha had to run into another meeting, but
Okay.
I think that the deadline for applying for housing was this week. So I'm a little worried that there's maybe a payment should have been made. We have not been accepted into housing, so that we haven't heard anything, a response.
Oh, okay. So she has applied for housing, but she hasn't heard anything yet.
No, but the deadline for
That's what you're saying,
application
right? She has
was
applied, but she
only
hasn't
this week.
she hasn't received any response of whether she was accepted for housing or not.
Right.
Oh, okay. So that's a different matter because the payment wouldn't be due until she gets an acceptance to housing.
Right.
Okay.
So
Right.
I guess the confusion was this housing payment deadline was not a general housing payment deadline. It was specific to
Yes.
that individual, perhaps.
Yes, because it can't be a deadline for you if you haven't yet received an offer.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But
Thanks.
yeah, but let Asha send that query to us at SERU though, because I would like to do a little bit of, ask a question over in housing. As I said, the housing session is next week, but next week is a week away. So we could
Right.
ask the question and send her a response by email.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Yeah, so take the SERU at kphil.uw, right? Ms. Bell has it in
Okay.
the chat. And yeah, send us that query and we will get an answer and let her know.
Thank you.
My local Ministry of Education is requesting an acceptance letter. You're welcome, Mrs. Maiku. My local Ministry of Education is requesting an acceptance letter from UWI Carefield for my local scholarship. However, received an offer letter from UWI, so I'd like to know if it's the same thing, Mrs. Jordan. An offer
Yes,
letter versus
I
an
wonder
acceptance
if it's
letter.
Trinidadian that we're
Yes,
speaking to,
must be
and if it
Trinidadian.
is that you're asking for a scholarship versus GATE, because I'm not sure if you know, but I will share with you that at the St. Augustine campus, they are given two separate letters. Only recently, since they have implemented a new system, they are now giving two letters. They're given what is called an offer letter. And if you indicate you want to, you accept that offer, then they send you an acceptance document, acceptance package. What we do, ours is a combination at the moment. We have an offer package, or what we call an acceptance package, which includes our offer letter, the acceptance form, student ID card form, medical. You have a link for halls. You have a link for immigration. Now, what you are expected to do is to complete that document, or the entire document, your acceptance form, all of those things, and upload them to the portal. We have sent correspondence to them just to explain, the difference between how St. Augustine is now doing their stuff versus how we still do our stuff at KPhil. So they understand where we're coming from, and they have acknowledged that, or they have indicated to us rather, that students must upload the entire package, including the offer letter, the acceptance form saying that you accept the offer, the student, everything, and you would upload it to them so that they can see that not your medical, because that is a bit a confidential something. So it would be your acceptance form and your student ID card form indicating that you have accepted the offer, in addition to that offer letter.
Now, Richard is having some needs a clarification. Now, I think Richard has a little bit of misunderstanding with respect to having applied for law, but being given a different offer, and what that means. So he's saying the law acceptance is provisional. He got a provisional offer for law. However, for the second program I chose, he got a firm offer. So he wants, will I have to resubmit the documents I sent in, that is the acceptance documents, for the second program for the law program?
No, he would not have received, you would not get a provisional offer for law and another firm offer for something else. What will happen is that we would have probably indicated to you that, we have not dismissed your application as we await the other qualifications that you have outstanding. So it is that we have not dismissed that at the moment, recognizing that you have outstanding qualifications, but we have offered you something else in the interim. So what we would say to you would be to accept the offer for the program that we would have offered to you, which would have been your second choice. And when we get your qualifications and you're competitive for the Faculty of Law, we would then make the upgrade to the Faculty of Law. So there wouldn't be anything else that you would have to send for law. I hope I made myself a little clearer.
So there are no requirements for law other than beyond the ones for the second program. He mentioned something about a police certificate that I know isn't required for anything
No,
else. Okay. All right. So
no.
Richard, I hope that's clear. You wouldn't have to submit any additional documents. That administratively, the admissions will make the change if you, when the qualifications come in, you are competitive and you qualify to get the law offer. All right. You wouldn't have to do anything more. That would be an administrative thing, and then you will inform him that that the change has been made, Mrs. Jordan.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Good. Thank you. Vishala, so just to confirm, will I have to pay the ID card and the mentees fee and guild fee and tuition fees for registration? Yes, everybody, all new students have to pay those fees, whether you're online or face-to-face. And if you are, oh, guess Mrs. Jordan wrote that part about the Pelican Perks. What is the technology fee and the Pelican Perks? I'm not seeing this in my offer letter.
Right. I would have indicated that if you're in science and technology, you would have gotten the technology fee, but the Pelican Perk is something that all students will be required to pay, and it's $20 for
$20 for 3 years.
First 3 years.
Yes.
So that correspondence will be forwarded to you as well. That was not included in your fees. This is an additional fee that you would pay.
Yeah, but you will see that in the fees brochure that I mentioned. The
Yes,
Pelican
it
Perks
is.
fee is a fee linked to your becoming a member of the Alumni Association. So those 3 payments of $20 by the end of your 3 years, you would have life membership in the Alumni Association and with all the benefits that come with that. All right, so you wouldn't then have to be paying $60 to join the Alumni Association. You would have done that, started that process as a student, and have access to some of those perks as a student as well. All right, so that's a link to the Alumni Association. Can you guys project when will be the fact of, okay, all orientations are during the week of August 25th. You will hear when the one for law is within that week, but it is in that week.
Now, the thing about it, Joseph, is that you really should not have applied for halls until you had received an acceptance document. Now, if there is a provision that you can do that with halls, then you can go ahead, once you were accepted with halls, you can go ahead and make your payment, noting that if you're not accepted, then you would have to give up your spot on halls.
All right. Shanila is asking about are you familiar with the PATH program, Mrs. Jordan? If I'm on the PATH program in Jamaica, am I still eligible for the grant for UWI Phil?
No, I am not. I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, Shanila send that to us as a query, and that sounds like we have to check out. We're not familiar with that. So send us that.
I will ask. Yeah. So Rose, once you get that one, I will speak to my colleague in admissions and ask her about that particular PATH business. Yes.
Okay, Shanila, so send that to SERU at KFL and we will liaise with admissions for you on it. You mentioned turquoise. You answered that. Technology fee, we answered that. Person said in her offer letter, she did not receive an ID card form.
She did not?
Yeah.
All right, no problem. What you can do would be to respond to the email, the representative, to indicate this, because I know that they're normally embedded. So I'm quite surprised to hear that you did not receive one. So please, please, please respond to your representative who would have sent you that email and indicate that you did not receive a student ID card form.
And yes, the registration fee can be paid via wire transfer. If you need that information, you can send us an email and you can send that information to you, how to do wire transfer information. We explained Pelican Perks already. All right, and I think we are at the end. I'm still not clear exactly what is the registration fee. Shoshana, download our fees brochure, go on the new student website and look at the paying your fees and you will find it there. The registration fee is covers the amenities fee, the guild fee, the ID card, the Pelican Perks, all of those are included in your registration fees. All right.
And if you're uncertain how to get on the website, you can just refer right back to your offer letter, because the link is there that takes you directly to the new student website. So if you are not sure how to do it from going on the web, go back to your letter, it takes you there, and then you have the opportunity to go in and look at everything as it relates to the new student website from that link.
Yes, so now you have to do Google UWI KFL new student, and it's gonna come up.
Yeah.
All right, but the amenities fee is what covers things like your health insurance. You have, free health insurance, your shuttle service that we have for students, free shuttle service, into Bridgetown throughout the day, and to, if you're living within a 3-mile radius of the campus, the student gym, all those kinds of things are covered under the amenities fee. And then the guild fee is paid to the guild for the services that the guild renders for students. Those are the two major components of the registration fees. All right, and then there's the $30 for the ID card and $20 for the Pelican Perks, which is the alumni fee. If you're in science and technology, then you have an additional $150 Barbados per semester. That covers all the science-based paraphernalia that students need use in science. All right, so I think we are right after 7 now, so we're going way beyond.
So just one more question, Mrs. Adderley, and this is the one from Ose. He wants to know about the full-time versus the part-time. And a full-time student is one who's fully qualified. You have your CXCs, you have your associate's degree, your university degree, and you are fully qualified. So we offer you a full-time offer. Now, the thing about being full-time is that you have the option of changing to part-time. It is up to you. You just write and let the person that sent you the offer know that you want to be considered for part-time. A part-time person, however, cannot register as a full-time student until you have completed your level 1 courses, which consists of 10 core courses. And I'm not speaking if you're doing any prelim courses or anything like that. You must complete your 10 courses, and then you can be considered as a full-time student. You do not have the option of changing until you've completed those 10 courses where you can do full-time. But a full-time student, we offer you full-time based on your qualifications, and you have the option of doing part-time. But remember, when you change to full-time as an overseas student, it has implications. It has implications on ticket reimbursement. It has implications on a lot of different things, how your fees are going to be paid, if you're applying for certain scholarships, if you would be given them because you're not a full-time student. So there are different things that you take into consideration as an overseas student coming to Barbados and then opting to be part-time. Thank you, Ms. Hadley.
Thank you. So I'll say what Mr. John, just in short, to make sure you get that critical point, you might be made a full-time offer, but you control your part-time status is just determined by the number of courses for which you register. All right. So if you register for a part-time load of courses as an undergraduate student, then you are part-time. And that's, yes, 3 courses or fewer, 3 or 2, right? Then you are part-time. So you don't have to apply to change the status or anything like that for undergraduate students. It's different for the postgrads, right?
Postgraduate should still tell us too, because if you were given full-time because that's what you asked for, but then you don't want it and you want to do part-time, you still let us know, because it is connected to your attributes and how we're going to, how many credits you're expected to register for and link to your fees and that kind of thing. So it's important that we know whether postgrad or undergrad, if you're going to change your full-time status.
Okay, so you want the undergrads to also indicate if they're going to register part-time, if they were made a full-time offer, and they'll send an email, they will send an email to the clerk.
Yes, please.
Okay, so you got that, I'll say. All right, so if you're changing, just send an email and let the clerk know you're going to be registering part-time. All right.
There's,
Okay.
before you wrap up,
Yes,
I
yes, sir.
had the probably the third part of his question, and it refers to, he says, possibility of doing courses online, and this is a bachelor of
Business administration, yes. I have a feeling that's something we need to check, because I have a feeling that it
Maybe.
that might be the
Maybe.
one bachelor's program. Yes, that's possible.
Okay.
Yeah. So Osai, I think we should be able to find Rosemary, would we be able to find Osai's email in case we need to send anything to him? We should be from the system, right? From the registration?
But he could also place it there just in case that we have
Yes,
to.
Osai, yes, space your email in the chat or send us an email at
Direct.
SERU,
Or you can
whichever
do
you
it direct,
prefer.
a direct message to if he doesn't want to put his.
Yes, you send it direct to us.
Yes.
In case when we do a check, we want to send you any follow-up information. All right, so you can send a direct message to Mrs. Rosemary Bella or myself, sharing your email, or you can send us an email, seru@cavehill.uwi.edu, with those questions or any other questions that you have, and we will follow up. Yes, Michaela, we will make the recording available, I believe. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't or can't. All right. So we are now at 7:12. And we were expecting to be with you only till 6 o'clock, but you've had a lot of questions, really good questions. And we are really happy that we, had this session and that we were able to give you a little bit more clarity on things as you continue on the road to enrollment in September. And we certainly look forward to welcoming you for orientation and welcoming you to the campus generally. And as Mrs. Bell said at the beginning, we look forward to some of you just knocking on the door of the SERU and saying, I am so-and-so, and I am from this country, and I'm glad to meet you, and I'm happy to meet you. And you will be sure to have a welcome face, a welcome smile from the SERU, as you will from the admissions and the postgraduate department. All right. So thank you all very much. In the meantime, if you have any additional questions, do remember you can it doesn't have to end here. You can send just your questions. And that's it. Mrs. Jordan and Mr. Ellis, Mrs. Bella, any last words you want to say?
Just looking forward to welcoming you to our family of excellence.
There you go.
From me.
And
Mr. Ellis?
I would echo that as well. And just say knock on your door. We look forward to seeing our research students coming through. I should add that we have a dedicated facility for postgrad students here at Cave Hill. So if you're a postgrad student, we have your own home waiting for you here at Cave Hill. Your own space, your own building, your own lab, your own,
Yes, and we also have a full orientation program for postgrad, which includes some seminars and so on. I think we started to send out a save the date on that already for some of the postgrad students, and we'll be sending it out again. It's also on the new student website, with dates for the seminars that we think, and we've gotten feedback from the students before in terms of how useful they found these sessions. So we will look forward to you engaging with those sessions as well when you do get that final schedule. Ms. Bell, you have the last word.
Looking forward to meeting you in person. Excited.
All right, so good. So thank you all for staying with us, and do have a good night, everybody.